Hi guys, this is Claire. This is Dennis, two physical therapists. Now today we're going to be going over the squat. This is an exercise that you should have been doing in the clinic already, so this is more of a review. So reviewing the squat, as far as the importance of an appropriate squat, of a functional squat, is that not only is it good for basic strength training of the legs, it is also great for functional lifting. So it's a way to take the back out of the equation, make sure that the back is not doing the lift for you, that the legs are doing the work. So that protects your back with lifting. It's also good for getting up from chairs, from getting up from floors, and then, as I said, just a good basic strength training exercise, all right? So let's get a squat in today, all right? So Dennis is going to be our model for today. He's got his feet about hip width apart, all right? So we don't want to go too narrow, we don't want to go quite too wide, but it should be kind of an appropriate, comfortable distance for him. Now he's also going to have his weight evenly distributed between both feet. Now what I mean by evenly distributed is it's not too far to the left, it's not too far to the right, it's not too far forward, it's not too far backwards. So take that in mind, keep that in mind while you do this, because some of you may naturally stand in your heels, in your toes, on the outside of your feet. So it's important to make sure that you start the squat with an even displacement of your weight through your foot, because that way you'll really feel all the appropriate muscle groups, mostly the glutes and the quads, firing. You're gonna feel the burn here, okay? So he's got a good equal distribution through his entire foot, and he's going to maintain that as he goes straight down towards the floor. Now as he starts to go straight down towards the floor, he's going to keep his knees over his feet. Good. And then he's going to push the floor away as he comes up. Good. Now as you may notice, he kept a great alignment as he went down as far as the knees and toes are concerned. Now he's going to show you a different way of doing that. So now if he goes, knees are going to cave inwards as he comes down. He's going to start to put more weight on the inside arch of his foot. So he's no longer going to have a good balanced foot. Now he's going to come back up. And now he's going to show you what it would look like if those knees go way too wide outside of the foot, in which case he's going to show a lot of weight on the outside, pinky toe side of his foot. All right, and that's going to really do some wear and tear on the ankles, the knees, let alone inhibit the quads and the glutes. All right. So now we're going to show you from a different angle here, and we're going to go through a few more obvious ways of corrections and incorrect ways of doing this. So now he's, again, entire foot. He's going to be dropping straight down. Now what he's doing a beautiful job of is that his hips go back, his chest and his knees come forward. His chest and his knees came forward at the same rate as each other. The hips go back as a reciprocal movement. That's the only way you can offset the chest and the upper body. Now, as he comes up, he's going to be pushing the floor away, okay? Good. And so when he comes to that full stand, and the last few degrees of that stand, he's got to use his quads and his glutes to come to a neutral position in standing. Versus, if he uses too much of one, he's going to end up in a different angle, and we'll go through that in just a second. Now, one other thing, an important thing to notice is not only do the chest and the knees come forward uniformly and the hips go back to offset that movement, but he also had a neutral back, all right? So there's no hinging extension through the neck, through the chest, through the pelvis as he went down. His back was neutral. So he's going to demonstrate again for us that neutral spine. His back is pretty much turned off. His paraspinal muscles, those two columns of muscles on both sides of the spine, are not holding on tight, okay? His head isn't extended, all right? So he's got a beautiful length, elongation through the spine. The top of his head, the back of his head is driving away from his tailbone. He's really going to find length there. He's going to stand his whole foot, and he's going to drive away. At that point, he's going to use those quads, that butt to both engage. So he comes up to that neutral position. Awesome. Now, let's show you a few ways that this could go incorrectly, all right? So we're gonna go with probably more of a quad dominant squat next, all right? So with quad dominant, you tend to find that you'll be on your toes a lot more. So Dennis is going to kind of demonstrate a quad dominant squat. Now notice his knees are not going uniformly with his shoulders, with his trunk. So both of those movements are not coming forward simultaneously, and his hips aren't going back. He's really just doing a deep knee bend. I just call this a deep knee bend. And then he can come back up. So that way you're really just going to feel your quads. You're not going to really feel your glutes. The weight is going to be into your toes, all right? And so now he's going to show more of a glute dominant squat. Now if you're doing a glute dominant squat, you're going to feel it more in your heels, all right? And there's going to be very little toe work. Those toes are practically going to be drifting off of the floor, all right? So he's going to go ahead and show us a glute dominant. So his weight is way far back. He's leaning pretty far forward. Good. And then he's going to come back up for us. Okay. And lastly, we're going to show a non-neutral spine. All right. So a lot of people, I would say, more often than not, people tend to extend into a squat. All right, so he's going to show us very much an extension, and this may happen if you're watching yourself in a mirror as you squat, because people like to, which is great to show you where you are with your knees, but it tends to promote an upward movement of the chest, and then your back tends to do a lot of the work here, and it takes it out of the legs. All right, so he's going to show us an extension based squat. Good, head is popping up. This getting a huge arch in this lower back. So now this lower back is doing a lot of work when it shouldn't be. The lower back should be relaxed. The stomach should be relaxed. And then he's going to go ahead and push back up for us. Okay, so those are the most common ways that you can really do an incorrect squat. We have the knees caving or going wide. We have way too much quad. We have way too much glute. We have too much extension through the chest and the head, all right? So really one of the best things that you can keep in mind is that foot. Make sure that you have that equal weight distribution of the foot. Now let's show one more time as Dennis goes down into a correct squat here. Good. Now if he's using too much toes, you can even do a little bit of a weight shift here to see, wait, where's my whole foot? It doesn't even have to wait until the end. You know, you can make sure he maintains that whole foot all the way down. He's doing fantastic work. This is hard work he's doing right now. I can feel it. He can feel it. Now he's gonna go ahead and push up. He's gonna use those glutes, those quads, pinch, push. Good, come to that neutral position. And as far as depth goes, you know, you don't really have to go too far past 90 degrees in the hips, okay? Those hips don't have to drop below the knees. We're really just looking for, mostly if you're getting off of a surface like toilets, rather low. We're looking for chairs, couches can be rather low too, but we don't really need to go too far past unless you're looking for a very specific functional goal, in which case please talk to your therapist about that. Otherwise, good luck. You've got this.